Okay, I've now come into Medford Center, and this is a walking bridge. And Beth, what do you see from the bridge here?
Well, from this bridge I am disappointed by the water chestnuts that I see behind me. This is an invasive plant, the European water chestnut. And you can see it's really clogging the waterway here, despite several community events that happened earlier this summer to rid the Mystic River of this invasive and nuisance plant. You can imagine that for boat traffic it's somewhat difficult to get through an area that's completely covered with these water chestnuts. They often get wound up together and are very heavy to remove. And they just really spread like crazy. They weed out the other native plants, and they also alter the water chemistry.
So what was happening? You had volunteers down here and they were physically pulling it out, or what were they doing?
That's right. We work very closely with volunteers. We're largely a volunteer-run organization and have been since the 70s. And so we organized with other groups similar to ours, such as the Friends of the Mystic River and Groundwork Somerville is another one, just to name a few. And we organize with boat clubs. We get folks out on the river for a day, often a Saturday morning, to come out and clean up their piece of waterway here. And so we would actually reach out of a canoe and sort of wind up a whole bunch of water chestnuts and pull them into the canoe and put them in a big basket. Then we dump those baskets elsewhere to get composted.
Well, we had a leaf blower start up behind us here. It's an urban problem that everyone has to deal with.
Yes.
And so you have citizen monitors going down into the water, and in addition to physically removing invasives, what are they monitoring the river for?
Yeah, we actually have 15 baseline monitoring sites, which is part of our baseline monitoring program. We have at least two volunteers at each of those 15 sites that go out every month, typically a Wednesday morning between 6 and 8 a.m. So they're very hardy, dedicated souls to do so throughout the year. You can imagine it gets pretty cold in the winter and dark as well to go out at that time of day. But they will go together as a team and take a sample of the water quality, and that's where we get a lot of our data from, is their work. And these are trained volunteers who make that commitment to us, and we have them testing for, or collecting samples to be tested for bacteria such as E. coli and Enterococcus, dissolved oxygen. We also look at total suspended solids and make just general observations about the site, such as the water color and odor.
And what are they finding is the state of the river?
Well, we found that it is improving, but there's still certainly a lot of work to be done, and it's really a case-by-case situation on the overall quality of the Mystic River. The EPA does look at our data and issue us a grade each year, and that's based on the percentage of time the Mystic River and throughout the watershed, it meets the national swimming and boating standards. So for 2009, we received a grade of C-. The year before that, we also received a C-, but prior to that, we had been receiving a D in terms of water quality for the Mystic River. So it's not necessarily a grade I would hang on my fridge, but I'm glad that it's at least moving in the right direction. There's a lot of momentum right now to deal with the issues plaguing the Mystic River watershed. And so we're really hopeful, really confident that this grade will only improve.
Thank you. So let's go further up the river.
So looking downstream, the other direction here, you can see that the water chestnut is actually not such an issue for this part of the Mystic River, and it's looking better, and I imagine this is due to a lot of volunteer efforts that have been weeding out the Mystic River.